Rohde, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining me today. What would you like to see agencies do, and what do you advise your government partners to do to build their talent pools when cyber talent is so tough to come by now?
Well, Francis, thanks for having me, and I appreciate you asking that question. One of the key areas that we look at when talking about talent development and retaining, proper talented cybersecurity professionals is we're all dealing with the same drains and resource pool. There's a lot of good jobs out there. There's a lot of great companies out there. And what we need to do is we need to take a look at what are ways we can make a strategic advantage to keep our people, to make our people happy. When you look at a lot of the industry studies that are out there, compensation is important, but it's not the most important thing. When you take a look, it's really about employee satisfaction, fulfillment with their job, purpose. And the way that we like to look at that internally at ServiceNow, as well as talking with our federal and DoD counterparts, are finding ways to make their day-to-day lives for employees better than what they have to do. When you look at each job, there's always mundane tasks. There's always things that, all right, take a lot of time, and you may not get the most benefit out of the time you put in. That's really kind of demoralizing for employees, specifically in the cybersecurity field. And so we take a look and try to figure out what are some of the ways that we can improve employee experience to help them become more satisfied in their job. And a lot of it really lends to automation and using artificial intelligence.
Yeah, a lot of folks have talked about AI at this conference and in other venues as an automation tool for the purposes of relieving people of that task, those tasks, but I'm not sure people have focused at least as much on the idea of the way that it enhances their experience as employees.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. It's when you automate a mundane task. Let's look at a phishing example. So in our security operations center, we have the ability for all of our employees to report if they have a suspected phishing email that they receive. Well, 20,000 plus employees, imagine how many are in the DoD.
Yeah.
If you're getting phishing emails and requests saying, hey, please investigate this. We've been able to automate that process, leveraging AI. And now instead of it taking a security analyst hours to research and determine whether this is a phishing attempt or not, it's all handled by automation. And yes, there's an occasional scenario where they need to jump in, but what it's done is freed up the security analyst to now do more interesting jobs. They get to jump in and do some threat hunting. They get to go in and potentially get engaged on red teaming efforts, which will ultimately help them grow, help them think outside the box, and is really going to benefit both the employee and their job satisfaction, as well as us as a company. We're going to have employees thinking bigger, not just looking at the same thing every day, and finding better, more efficient and effective ways that we can do business.
I want to ask you about both sides of the employee-employer relationship. What's a good idea for the companies to do and for the departments to do to invest in their people? And what would you like to see the people do to contribute to their own career growth so that they become more valuable to the organizations they're associated with?
It's a great question. So one of the things I love to tell organizations, whether it's Fed, DoD, customer, civilian, take a look at the processes that you have in place that lend themselves to automation. If you come in with an approach, we're going to boil the ocean, it's never going to work. It'll be insurmountable. You won't be able to effectively achieve the objectives that you're looking to do. Instead, take bite-sized chunks. Take care of things that lend themselves to automation. Get employee feedback. Get employee input on what they would like to see in areas where they can see valid improvement in the way the processes work. So I think that's kind of the biggest advice I give to organizations is really don't bite off more than you can chew. Take a look at what is automatable and really start with that before jumping full board in. On the flip side, from an employee perspective, I think it's really imperative on employees to look at their own career growth and take hold of it, grasp it. People don't get promoted for doing the same job over and over again. People get promoted because they're doing a great job at what they're assigned to do, and they're taking on more responsibilities. They're looking at other options, other opportunities for themselves to grow. So I think that's the biggest thing I'd tell employees is really look at what can you do, what can you do better, what can you do to grow, and what are areas that you're interested in, and that's ultimately going to keep them happier, and give you a better option, better ability to maintain that top talent.
It's great to have you on the show, Mike. Thanks for joining me today.